All right, guys, welcome back to Geek Yourself, episode 6, and it's 4 o'clock Saturday, and we do want to make this a regular. And so for a while I haven't done the Geek Yourself show, which talks about technology and anything you want to know about when it comes to technology or living. We've done all different sorts of things. I remember the last time we were here, we reached episode 5, and I did take a break, and so I do apologize for that. But know that we're back here. We want to ensure that we're here every 4 o'clock. And as you know, we have the Southern Musical Explosion at 6 o'clock. And this evening we're doing something different for that. But without touching that, hey, what's up? What's up, Mom? Yeah, it's 4 o'clock and you're in tune to Geek Yourself. Mom is online. Mom is telling me what's up. That's my mom, I still have an interview pending. I have an interview pending with you, and you know that way we want to talk about teaching in Southern Belize and teaching in third world countries, so you can give us a bit of that history. So I'm glad that you're online and you're in tune to Marcel Palma here on YouTube, right? But this is where we talk about technology and anything else you want to talk about. For people who don't know, and I'll spend this afternoon particularly introducing myself, which I know that I have not done for a while, right? I have not really told the viewers about me, and so I want to ensure that you know a little bit about me, and so that you know what you're getting into, to put it in such a way, right? But know that and I'm smiling because Mala June is online, right? But it's all good. But know that we're here. Whatever questions you want answered, feel free to leave it in the chat. I want to head in that direction for today, where we're able to. And can you hear me well? I guess that should be the question. Can you hear me well? Right? And know that whatever questions you have or whatever questions you want me to address, we can do it here and on this platform. I can say this, that this week school started for secondary school, and we did started our whole online factor here in Belize, knowing that secondary school was supposed to start October 5th. And so we made the start for students who can reach online. That is all good. We expect that we ideally want 100% of students online by the end of October, right? And of course, we're still awaiting those devices that were promised to us by our government. Of course, I can say that I know that the promise of the devices were not going to be fulfilled in time. And this is what I keep saying, that there has to be in order for you to make decision for something like this, and I want people to understand this, I'm not being political or anything. In order for you to make decision on something like that, you should have contacted a team, and the team would have told you that, you know what, the timeline that you're aiming for is unrealistic, and unrealistic in the sense that in Belize we have to import in stuff, and from the talk about we have to import in stuff, you know that it will be a while to get in something like 15,500 tablets, right? And so unrealistic. But we're used to those promises that politicians made to us, and I know some people really had it in their heart that their child would be receiving a device by October 5th, which is of course not so. I will tell you this, and this is just me being realistic, that we can expect those devices sometime just before election. An election, of course, is scheduled to be held on November 11th. And like every year and every election time, this is when things happen. And of course, politicians will make false promises. But of course, if it happens that each child can receive a device, and it happens that each child can have access to the internet connection, then it means that it'll be a glorious day for the country of Belize, particularly for the Toledo district, in terms of devices being used. But with that being said, I want to say that we have launched at our school in particular. I can talk about Toledo Community College. We have launched our online program fully in terms of Google Classroom, where our kids get a chance to log in. I have placed in a couple tutorials on my website, and so if you're seeing this even after today, if you're seeing this tomorrow, right, it means that you probably have an idea of how to log into the Google platform, the G Suite platform, and I want to talk about that today so other schools know how to get access to the G Suite platform. And of course, I want students to understand that this is definitely something new for you. And so I see people rushing and thinking that, oh yes, I have this. No, you don't have it. You have to take your time and make sure that you get it right. But schools in particular who want to sign on to G Suite, and just so you know, I have been a Moodle user for the last 4 years. So I started this whole Moodle usage platform since we're in 2020. I started from 2016 actually, and Moodle is one of those what we call open source software. By open source software, we mean it's one of those software that is free for use, meaning that the code is available online, so nobody really owns the software. Anybody can use it and modify it for their particular use. And Moodle is used in, and teachers might be familiar with this, Moodle is used in those MOOC classes. They're called, I don't quite remember what MOOC means, but it's one of those open classrooms, and so you're able to just go in and do different courses. But they use Moodle because Moodle is open source. Now, we decided that we will use Google Classroom, and Google Classroom is, again, it's beyond me in terms of the power that it has to offer. So Google Classroom is a very powerful platform, right? And I do recommend it for all schools simply because of how free it is. The setup though for the G Suite takes a little bit of time. I was one of those persons who thought that using Google Classroom as a regular Gmail user was the same as using Google Classroom as a registered domain. Now, here on my channel, I want to ensure that I explain what I mean by regular domain. Now, a domain name, for people who are not familiar with that word, a domain is names like, in our case, tcc.edu.bz. If you have ever visited my website domain name is backplay.com. If you look at google.com, that's a domain name, right? So it means that if I register for Google Suite under a domain name, and let's say I'll use TCC as an example because I work there, it means that I get my organization in partnership with Google, meaning that everybody with a tcc.edu.bz ending gets all the power of the Google Suite. Now, Google Suite is a very powerful software, and I want to throw this out there to people who are still using What's Up King Ev, to people who are still using the regular Gmail and thinking that they're getting the full power of Google Suite. The answer is no. One of the main features that comes with it is the Google Meet, where you get the video conference call with your students. And of course, I can say this so that it ties into even the people who are really tech savvy can view it, that if you're using Jitsi, you notice with Jitsi that you can type in whatever name you want for the name of the video conferencing that you want. Same thing happens with Google. Google is using the same open source software, just that they have modified it and made it to their company built. And anybody can do this. So don't feel like they're doing anything special, right? If you're tech savvy, you're one of those people who are really into technology and you have installed open source software, you can also install an open source video conferencing software for your organization. So don't feel like you have to be using Zoom, you have to be using Jitsi, you have to be using Google Meet, you have to be using team meeting, right? You can make use of that same platform for your organization. Of course, you have to do a little bit of research, so don't feel like it comes easy. Point be said though, that we are using Google platform as our main platform, which means our students get to benefit from all the powers of Google, right? Now, what is of key for students, and it happened to me in the beginning, whenever you do online courses, and I guess this is what I specifically want to talk about today. Whenever you do online courses, don't feel like it is any easier than you doing a face-to-face course. As a student, you have this in your mind that it is easier for me to do an online course because I'm alone behind my computer and I can do all the research. Don't get it wrong. You still have to make sure that you fulfill whatever requirements they were before you sit the actual quiz. And I'm saying this because I've seen it in my class at the beginning, where students feel like, the first part of my course, and I teach only fourth form students, so I'm going to mix things up. So I'm talking a little bit about me and a little bit about my course. I teach secondary school at Toledo Community College. I teach specifically fourth form. And the main thing is that I teach right now, the topic is database. And so I have a bunch of videos on my YouTube channel, on the same YouTube channel that you're looking at, that teaches about database. Now I'm giving them a bite at a time. And I've told this to my students. I'm giving you a small piece. So right now we're just doing introduction to database, and I expect that will last for 2 weeks. Now, there are going to be students who are way ahead of the chain. Some students are finished. Some students have it unlocked. Some students logged in, but they didn't log in back to get the work done. So that creates a problem. But it's a problem that can be remedied. And of course, we're waiting for everyone to be able to log in. I'm a patient guy, and I think everybody in Belize should be patient like this. The devices will come at some point. Students will be able to log in, and we want that our students are able to get the work done. But point be said that don't take the online platform lightly. For example, I was one of those students who, if I saw something online, I would jump to it. And I would jump straight to the quiz because I thought I knew the information. Wrong idea. Make sure that you go through what we call the prerequisites, right? Go through what was required of you. Go through some of the first work to make sure that you understand the material well. After you understand that, know that whenever you take these quizzes are timed. So, like for example, I could have set my quiz to 30 minutes. And if I give 30 questions, it means that you're average at a minute per question, right? Which means that you have little time to do the research. Which means that as a student, you're expected to know the material, right? And I keep saying this because I made the same mistake starting out. You know what? I jumped on an online class and I say, I got this either IT major, we talk about technology in the classroom. I jumped straight to the quiz. Wrong idea. Read your material first, review your material before you jump to the quiz, because you want to make sure that you're maximizing on the points that you can achieve. Now, yes, some platforms do offer what we call a retake on the quizzes. In the case of the Google Suite that we are using, I can say that I don't see a retake, which means that your first attempt on the quiz will probably be your grade, unless me as the teacher decide, you know what, I'll make a quiz 2 for you, the student. And I've been trying this for my students, and this is one of the main things I'm urging people from Belize who are doing the online platform for the first time, and people from the Caribbean who are doing the online platform for the first time. We want to ensure that we're patient with our students. Notice King Ev is saying the quizzes are easy. And I'll say this to King Ev, the quizzes are easy now because we want to ensure that you're comfortable with the platform. And this is, I'm talking to both students and teachers here. Students might say, all right, the quiz easy. You know what, I'll tell you this. And it's not about making the quiz easy or hard, you know. It's about whether you understand the information. But I genuinely make my first quiz very easy. Right? I make my first quizzes very easy for my students. Meaning that I will ask questions that I'm sure that they know, simply because I want to ensure that they get the practice with the software. Reading from the comments, Rand Moore saying spelling was hard for you. I probably spelled something wrong in the introduction to my program. I apologize for that. But back to my point. As a student, know that your teacher will make your first quiz very easy for you, because we want you to get used to the platform, right? We also want you to be able to spread the word about the platform to your colleagues and tell them, you know what, if you haven't logged on, all right, I got you, Ryan. If you haven't logged on, we want you to log on. And so, weird enough, I had more than 60% of my students logged on to my platform the first time. Now doing the work, I have seen a decline in people submitting their work, and that is what we want to improve on. Don't be that student who looks for an excuse. And I want to say this in the most sincerest and mode possible. I feel like we're back to the beginning, if you get me, where knowledge was limited to those who could afford to get the knowledge. Think back to the days where they were what we considered wizards. They were smart people, right? And the man's quiz is the same way. Anyway, they were smart people. It was simply because the knowledge was afforded to them. As a parent, as a student listening to this right now, I want you to understand that you will be the ones who will shortchange yourself by finding excuses, by deciding not to do the assessment, by figuring out that there must be an easy way out of this. No. The truth is that this is the norm. This is the new norm. And so it means that whenever schools like Toledo Community College, for example, and I can think about some of the city schools and some of the town schools that are really trying their best to get the information out, and I can say for sure that 50% of my students have not logged in, and I'm worried about the next 50% that I know for sure don't have access to the technology, I know for sure that the students know. I know for sure that they need that parental support for this to happen. Now, as a parent, you might say, all right, I just can't afford it. I can't afford for my child get a tablet. I can't afford for my child get a laptop. I can't afford for my child get a desktop. And I do understand you. This is the time, though, for you to prioritize. Now, I'm not saying go out there and invest in a $2,000 laptop. Go out there and invest in a $4,000 laptop. Any device will work for now for the submission of work. And I'm sure most of you parents out there have this. This works too. This is a computer, and you can look back at one of the videos I launched in my series that talks about a phone being a computer, right? Most parents have this by their side. They're able to call from various villages. And let me just pause a little bit and read some of the comments. So Miss Jones says, King Evan, Ariane, they're having their own battle about spelling. How can teachers encourage parents to get their children to be responsible for learning? Very serious question. Children are not taking the new challenge serious. At the end of the day, they will be missing out. And then Ryan Moore, do that to everybody. Yes, comment might need to be followed up on teachers, parents, and so the question in here is, and I'll read it again, how can teachers encourage parents to get their children to be responsible for their learning? That's a very good question, Miss Joan. As a mother, as a parent, myself, being a parent myself, I can say that we want the best for our kids. Teachers are not responsible for your child learning. Teachers are kind of the bridge to the learning that happens. Automatically, your children they're learning every day. We want that formal education in them, but for the most part, and this is where the system went backwards, parents are the one responsible for what their kids learn, which is why you get the opportunity to pick different schools. I can pick to send my child to TCC, I can send my child to JC, I can send my child to St. John's College, right? Ultimately, I can say this, that your child, they're depending on you as a parent for that guidance. Where it went backwards, and this is what I want to find out, I want to make sure I get across. Where it went backwards was when you as a parent felt like the teacher was responsible for your child's education. That is not true. Keep in mind that what we call street smart or what we call school smart, they're different, Street smart that will stand out, but yet we want your child to have that formal education, and so you get the choice of who you send them to learn. Now, I can see it as a problem in the Toledo district in particular, where and this is, I'm not downplaying anything, where we do have parents in our households that cannot read. We have parents who can't spell. We have parents who don't know the mathematics, right? And so now, looking at what their child are doing, or what the kids are doing in terms of high school work, they are of no help at all. And so they feel lost. So imagine I am at home. My child brings home a algebra work. I have no formal education in terms of secondary school because of the way we grew up, right? But my child brings home a work that I don't understand. How am I as a parent then to help that child? That's the magic question, right? And this is why they cling on to teachers and expect teachers to do magic. The truth is that the magic and the belief comes from you as a parent. If you explain to your child, and this is one of the major problems we're having, if you explain to your child, or you take time to explain to your child your upbringing and how it has influenced you and why you don't want certain situations for them, it makes things a lot better for us as teachers. I'll tell you why. Most of the kids don't know what you've been through, and I'm talking to parents now. They don't know your background. They look up at you as you're the leader in the household. To them, you're still the smartest person in the world. Just like how they look at the teachers, right? And students do look at their teachers like that. They feel like teachers are the smartest person in the world, which, is not true. They need to start believing that they're the smartest person in the world. But you as a parent, although you did not have the formal education as you would be thinking, right? It means that you still have to offer some sort of guidance. And I'm saying, and this is why I'm saying, give your child a story of how you were brought up. Give your child a story of some of your hardships. Give that child that story so that he or she can get an idea of the type of living they want and the type of society they want to live in. And I'm saying this because our kids have...
I didn't understand that.
Hold on, Bixby is answering me. Our students have to realize that they are the agent of change. Even if we don't realize it, our young people need to realize that they are the agent of change. And they have to be a part of this. But for them to understand why there needs to be that change, you have to explain that to them. And I know I'm blabbing off right now in this Geek Yourself episode 6 because it's so important, right? I'll pause, I'll read some of the comments again just to make sure I don't miss anybody. And of course we have King Ev and my mom, very active in the chat, right? Says very true. Every child from birth, every child has a phone. That's true. They know how to use it effectively. So let's put value to the phone. And I guess that's the bottom line now. That yes, we have the technology. We just have not been using it effectively. So yes, we can use technology for getting on Facebook. We can use it to create a TikTok, right? We can use it to go on Instagram. But can we use it to create a Word document? Can we use it to create a spreadsheet to keep track of our finances? Can we use it to create a database to keep track of what we do every day? Can we use it to create a website so we can market our businesses? Can we use it to send off an email to somebody so we are able to communicate effectively? Right? Can we use it to create a video so we can create an advertisement for our business that we're establishing? Which at the end of the day, we want entrepreneurship in it, but I'm losing focus. All right, it says, Little Stevie is saying Fox, right? King Ev, I hate having work for later. Yes, and very true, King Ev. Procrastination. That's a big word, Procrastination. It means that you can do something today, but you leave it for tomorrow. Don't let that catch you as a student. If you know, if I know that I have a task, and I'm going through the comments one by one, if I know that I have a task for next week, doesn't mean because it's for Monday that I need to start Sunday. It means that I can do it this week on Tuesday, and I work piece by piece. This goes for everything in your life. If you're building a house, it doesn't mean you have to build a mansion one lick, so you have to save up $300,000 to build a house. You can build one piece at a time, but make sure that you're building that you can expand. Right? That is how the world works. Nothing was built in one day. In fact, even the Bible said that the earth was built in 7 days. Rome wasn't built in one day, and all the other little connotations that you have with it. Right? So take your time, make sure that you do a little bit every day until you fulfill your task. Alright, so it says, I do wish many parents can hear what you're saying, Bob. This is important. Of course, this is important information, and this is part of the sharing. This is part of the wake-up call that I'm giving to people of Punta Gorda, people of Toledo, people of Belize, people of the Caribbean, people of the world, right? This is one of those wake-up calls, and these are some of the things that we need to do. We need to start the communication process differently. So it's not that I can get up and make a call to you. It could be that all of this, and how can I say this? All of this technology now is afforded to us, meaning that now your parents, you have access to this. Your parents are paying $70 Belize, $30 US, in that case, per month for your internet access. Your internet access is not just for you to check Facebook or check Instagram or check TikTok for the latest, It is for you to have access to that information that was not available to us years ago. Think about this, and I want students to think about this. 1992, that's how young I am. 1992, if I wanted to do a research, we had a big block of what we called encyclopedias, right? I even forget the name. Encyclopedias. And so if I wanted to search for zebras, for example, I want to know about zebras, I would go through all of those books until Z. I haul it out and I look for zebras. So I had to go through books in order to conduct research. And so it was harder for us to research in that era. Now for you, if I want to know about zebras, I jump into Google and I type in something about zebras. I want to know why zebras have stripes. I type it in Google. It's there. That information is readily available for us. What we don't do in this era, and I can say this, and because I see it from young people, is that we don't observe the information. Meaning that, yes, we know the information is there, but we don't care about knowing about the information. So if you're doing a research, and this is my thing to you, we used to have to read books. You guys don't have to read books now. Their information is at your fingertips, literally at your fingertips, because you can type it in. Make sure that you read it through. Don't just look for the piece that you're looking for and say, all right, I find the answer, I good. That doesn't make you smarter. That does not make you smarter. If there's a teacher that you look up to, if there's someone that you look up to as a student, question why, right? Question how did that person, how does he know what he knows, right? He had to have done the research, right? And that is important. So it is important that you sit down and read too. The games are not important, and I'll say this, the games are always there. If you left off at level 7, you will start off at level 7, right? Life doesn't wait for you. When you finish high school, when you finish primary school, somebody, you'll be racing for a job, which shouldn't even be the case. We're looking to produce entrepreneurs, right? You're racing for a job. The person with the most knowledge of that particular job or that particular entity is the one who gets it. So make sure that you are the one who is more knowledgeable in that area, and that means that you're reading more. You're not passing through the information, right? All right, let me continue down. Secondly, arrange to get another media. Very important information. Yes, I totally agree, Miss Joan. King's a hero, and of course, this is part of working from home. And I like this because everybody can be in tune to whatever we're saying, right? Zip, the truth of the matter is kids are going to have to all log on. That is true. They have all logged on. The problem is that they don't want to stay logged on and learn. Somehow, some way, they need to get the full benefit of school this year. Schooling for 2020 is going to be difficult. It is going to be a difficult time for students to identify that the learning is up to them. I said this to a couple of people a couple of years, well, actually not a couple of years, 2 years ago to be particular. I said the world is going to start over. It doesn't mean it's going to start over and everybody's going to die out, It means this exact same statement, that information availability will be to those who want it. If you don't want it, think about where you will be. When I start talking about we can use Excel to create budgets, and you'll be like, what the Excel, right? But you're passing through the system, and so you're expected to know. that time your colleague will be laughing and say, oh, but Excel have to make budget and create numbers and do this. But you're lost because you didn't take the time you didn't invest the time then to make sure that you understand the material right. Zaire said most people just copy the information instead of reading, understand and explain in your own words. Very true, Zaire. At high school level, and I think it's something that needs to be taught from primary school level, there is something called plagiarism for people who don't know, and this is particularly for the students. There's something called plagiarism, and plagiarism means that you're using somebody else's information, and I should get a formal definition. You're using somebody else's information as if it was your own. Right? So let me pull up a definition so that you guys can see this, so that I'm not people say I talk out of my head, no? So plagiarism is using somebody else's information as if it was your own. Now, what I want to make sure that you understand is that a teacher no longer have to figure out whether you're plagiarizing, We can throw that into a software that checks whether you're copying somebody else's work. So, key point, and I'm happy Zahir bring this up. Key point. You cannot copy somebody else's work without giving them credit. Key, Now, there are several ways to do this, and I'm not an English teacher by any means, right? But there are several ways to do this, right? None of our ideas are new ideas. And I want to make sure I say that again. None of our ideas are new ideas. So, whatever you're writing about, there is really, and I found this out later on, which is why I struggled to write documents during my earlier school days. There is no problem in quoting somebody else's work and saying that I got the idea from them. There is no problem with that, but you have to give them credit. Don't take it as if it was your own. Now you can do your own reflection, and this is where students, and I think as teachers, we should tell them this earlier. When you tell a student to write 150 words essay, they're like, man, that's hard. I don't know if I can do that. And so you start, picking out, and you're counting these words as you go along. What we don't tell them is, it is okay to quote somebody else. Just make sure that you break it down in your own words to show that you understand the material. And it is okay to reflect on the material. Just to show your teacher that, yes, I understand the material and these are my concerns, right? So there might be something that you agree with, something that you disagree with, but you have to make sure that it is reflected in your writing. So, yes, your teacher asks you to write an essay about politics in Belize, for example. You can quote some things from some books. Just make sure that you're sticking to whatever style your teacher teaches you in terms of quoting the material. So, of course, there's APA, there's MLA, right? And I'm not sure how much I go into it in high school, but know that this is probably your responsibility to learn how to quote material. Haran is saying I'm going off topic. No, I'm not going off topic. I'm teaching the right thing. Plagiarism, Zara spoke about it, means that you're copying and you're pasting and you're saying this is my work. If a student copies a work off a website, for me, I have no problem with it, as long as they put the website they got it from and they reflect on what they wrote down. And this is key, right? I want them to reflect on what they wrote down. So if I ask a student, give me 2 output devices and explain what are their workings, right? And the student goes and write down something and this is their reflection, that's okay. But if they copy and paste, let's say, from some website, and they put it in their work and say, all right, this is what I understand, and they copy and paste and put it in, that is wrong. You can copy and paste work. Just make sure at the end you quote and say, I got this work from this website. But this is what I think about this particular topic, right? That's your reflection. You're quoting from somebody, that's okay. You're taking ideas, right? All right, let me continue on the comments, and I'm getting back on topic. All right. All right, Miss Joan, can AI teachers virtually reach out to parents and students about continued learning based on new norms of online learning and importance to all of us? We're doing that. I think most schools are doing that. Remember that this is something new to parents and students alike, but it's something that we continue to try to improve on. And so you'll find out that, and I can say this, that in the coming months, you'll see that more teachers they're going to be reaching out to parents. What happens is that most teachers are uncomfortable with being in front of the camera like I am, right? Well, I'm pretty comfortable with the camera, right? I love the camera. But I could remember my first time in front of the camera, I was kind of shy, but now I know that the world is looking, and I know that what I'm saying is legit. That's what teachers have to get comfortable with. If there's a topic that you're not comfortable with, don't do it. If there's a word that you're not comfortable with mentioning, don't mention it. Make sure that you're comfortable. That gives you comfort in front of the camera, right? So we're going to do that. COVID is here to stay. Yes, I'm probably one of those people to attest to a very close call, and we're still there yet. It's a new chapter. Definitely, it's a new chapter. It's a new era in our way of living, right? King Zahiro says, you have to learn to live with it. Yes, it's like the common flu. We could say that somebody with a weak immune system, and I'm not Dr. Manzanero, I'm not a health professional in any way. Somebody with a weak immune system do have to look out, and I am a person with a weak immune system, so I do have to look out. Ryan Moore says, I'm way off topic. This is what it's about. Geek yourself. Geek yourself means that you talk about anything. We're here to talk about technology. We're here to talk about politics. We're here to talk about living, right? That's what we're here to talk about. King Ev said, don't copy and paste. Yeah, we're not here to copy and paste anything, King Ev. We want it to be our idea. Gregor Joan, I remember the first time when I started to study to become a computer tech back in 1998. You sound like you're as old as me, Gregor Joan. There wasn't no YouTube, which is true, which is very true. We had the encyclopedias those days, right? You had to read and find the answer, which is very true. And so I say again that the young people, they have one of the better days that they're not making use of. And as us being in this era now, where technology is available and information is available to us, you find out that, I'm not a big book reader, but I find out that I am researching information that I want to know about at a particular time, and sometimes we become experts in it right off YouTube or right off different websites, right? And so we are doing more research, more self-research, but not documented research, right? And for those people who do documented research, they can speak to that. King Ev says, I write my own thing. I hope so, King Ev. I really hope so. But I'm telling you again, I'm reminding you that if you decide, let's say for example, if I ask you to write about monitors, this is kind of what you will do, right? You will jump here and you will type in monitors, right? Well, not a bad spelling. Just so I can offer an example, right? So you'll jump in and you'll type in monitors, and you look for the best one that talks about monitors. And you see this one, and you will copy our image from here, and you will see, well, let me put in types of monitors so it's more specific. Just to offer an example, not getting sidestepped or anything. All right, so you see this one here. You say, all right, oh, my teacher will love this. These are the types of monitors, right? And so students will do this. They'll copy this and they'll punch it into a Word file. And you paste it into a Word file and you hand it up to your teacher and say, this is my work. And I'm telling you that no, that is wrong, right? You can't do that. You can't do that. So King Ev, King Zahiro, all the young people listening to me, you can't do that, right? You can't paste this up and say, this is my homework, right? What you can do is somewhere at the end of your statement, at the end of your work, put in a reference, right? Remember this word, because you will have to, and you can ask your teacher about it. Put in a reference and tell your teacher, and there's a format that you will follow, and Word offers that same power. I'll have to go through it one of these days, right? Where you can tell your teacher exactly where you got the information from, right? And it is found in bibliography. And I will teach you guys of how to put this in. But if you're getting information from a website, it means that you're adding it in, and there are different styles, and your teacher will talk to you about this, right? So let's say, for example, I'm getting this, right? Insert citation, add new source. I'm getting this from a website. So I will choose website. I got it from this website in particular. This is techadvisory.org. All right, name of the page, it's called techadvisory.org. Well, actually, the specific page is that entire thing. All right, name of the website, it's called techadvisory.org, and other specifications of the specific website itself. So this is my URL. Right? So okay, and that's your reference. So in your bibliography, then this is the reference you put in. So you need to tell your teacher, this is where I got it from, right? So you don't copy and paste it and not say where you got it from. You need to ensure that you're telling your teacher exactly where you got it from. That is key. Don't copy and paste it like it's your work. You didn't write that. You copied and pasted it from somewhere. Not getting sidestepped. All right. Back to it. All right. So Ryan is saying we're off topic. Yeah, I totally agree, Ryan. I was saying this is a mixture of, whatever we're doing. King Zaire says no politics. I rate you. Politics is everything, right? All right. My teacher knows it's from me because of my own writing style. No. Your writing style says nothing. You're just reflecting on somebody else's work until you bring out something new, right? King Zahiro says with the technology today and this new society, it is an easier way to find a job, and there is more jobs back then than I suppose. I want you to understand something, King Zahiro. King Zahiro, for people who don't know, is my son, right? And he needs to understand that entrepreneurship is what runs the world, right? If you want to get rich in today's society, it means you have to work for yourself. Don't feel like you'll get rich working for anybody. Somebody mentioned it the other day. I don't see any rich teacher, right? Teachers don't make money. Businessmen make money. Entrepreneurs make money. People who have a skill make money, right? So don't feel like you will turn a rich man being a policeman. You will turn a rich man being a police defense force soldier or an army-based personnel. You'll turn a rich man being an accountant, right? The only way you turn a rich man in this world is working for yourself and employing people to work for you, which means that you create your own job. So if you can fix that in your mind now, it helps you in the future. Make sense? Back to G Suite. Rand Moore said back to G Suite. All right. So it means then that we're offering you a platform that you can learn from and something that you can use. And whatever other questions you might have in terms of G Suite, and I know G Suite is something very powerful. I've been using Moodle for 4 years, and Moodle is something that is a off the top learning platform, online learning platform that you can use. I had to shift to G Suite simply because it is something that my school chose to use, right? And so we're there. I'm looking at the time, it's 49 minutes, right? I didn't think I'd go so long today. This is back to episode 6 for Geek Yourself. We're going to be here every Saturday at 4 o'clock. Times have changed. Before this, I didn't thought, for some reason I didn't think that I would have my Saturday evenings free. But Saturdays now are dedicated to getting the videos out for you guys. So, Geek Yourself, episode 6, where we talk about technology and anything else that matters. I have a little bit of update on my gardening project. I harvested some cucumbers. I started growing some chickens. I have a sheep now inside that yard, and I also have 4 ducks. Right, so I'm going to give you guys some update on that in some of the upcoming videos on my YouTube channel. But like everything else, guys, I'm ending it here. We're an hour in. I have a segment tonight at 6 o'clock for Southern Music Explosion, and the aim for that is to educate our musicians on the way forward, right? So I'm going to stop here for today. Like always, guys, be safe, right? Make sure you take care of yourself. One thing I realize now is that you come first, right? So make sure that you are safe before anybody else, and then you take care of the rest after. So we sound like the paramedics, right? But make sure you come first, and make sure that you always get ready to geek yourself. Peace out.